So how have you been, Kuro? Like throughout this week, throughout these days? You know.
I'm the info fairy and the graphics maker and the everything working on everything. So you can imagine.
Yeah, everyone shout out to Kuro. We've been doing a lot recently, and behind the scenes, Kuro has also been trying to keep up with the amount of content that we've been producing. Um, with
Yeah,
all the
I'm
qualifiers for DreamHack, with new tournaments that we're doing, like the Rebirth tournament that we did.
yeah, I'm typically not the voice, but like I'm always there. So that's a thing.
Lurking in the
Also,
shadows.
I had something else to say, but now I don't remember. I was gonna say something.
Oh, we should have told Demi that you were casting.
Nah. I mean, you told him last time, and I don't remember what he did. Anyway,
I remember what he did.
are you gonna intro them up?
That's what again. The bottom left-hand corner of Everdream LE. We have the Australian Terran player representing Mind Freak SC. It is HuT.
To be honest, I'm pretty sure there's no SC in the name, but
Mind Freak on its own just sounds weird. It feels like something needs to be added.
with Yaku, let's be honest. And in the top right corner of the map, Everdream LE, we have the blue Zerg player representing Downfall Gaming, and India, we have Demi, the shark himself. Sorry for my very excited voice, but allergy is a great thing.
So the problem with HuT's team, I'm gonna say the problem is that it's Mind Freak. There's no S at the end, and it feels weird just saying representing Mind Freak.
It's a single Mind Freak. They all represent the one Joker or someone.
Exactly, because every single time I look at it on Wikipedia, and it's just Mind Freaks, and there's no S at the end. There's no Mind Freak Esports Gaming. It's just on its own, and it just feels weird saying that. It feels like I'm stopping myself from like saying more.
But maybe that's what it is. Maybe there's like a single Mind Freak, and they're all representing him.
Representing the Mind Freak.
Okay.
Like grammatically, it's bothering to me. I don't know. It feels weird, and oh boy.
What? I feel like he likes doing that. If I'm not wrong, HuT actually does it pretty frequently, like just putting bunkers in places.
It's kind of his thing.
Isn't he the one who puts bunker in like the third, so to block it?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, that's pretty commonplace nowadays. Like a lot of Terrans do that. Not just HuT.
Do a lot of them do bunkers though? I feel like a lot of them do NG blocks.
No, in recent times they've stopped doing NG blocks and started with bunkers. Okay. And yeah, this bunker here, it's the purpose of it is to deny the third base. Like a drone isn't going to be able to sneak past and throw down that hatchery.
Even the links like have a hard time going out, so like there's no attack either.
Yeah, it's not like an all-in or anything like that. Like from the Terran player, this is just to delay the economy from the Zerg, and it's working, right? Like typically by now you would already have the third base coming up for the Zerg player.
There's no queen in the main because Demi transferred both of them to the natural.
Yeah.
Wait, did she press 5 though? Close.
And they just they dive in.
Oh my god. He didn't salvage. Oh no.
Yeah, I was gonna say a little bit greedy. Like because he dove into the bunker, he couldn't start the salvage, so he ended up losing it.
But even if he did, at that point it was pretty late for a salvage. I think. Like I don't know if it would finish.
True.
Like in general, he was just paying more attention to the Reapers, obviously, and just let them.
Yeah, and the Lings are here. Like speed is finished, but oh, Hellions come out just in time.
Nothing to worry about.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm kind of happy. I'm you know, I'm feeling like Chappie right now. How HuT he didn't proxy. He's playing this relatively standard, and I love it.
He proxied a banker.
I guess. And what? I'm sorry, Yaku. I don't know if you're watching, but we aren't going to be seeing Ravens today. I'm very disappointed.
Yep. But hey, at least Lumia
Yeah.
will be happy.
Yeah, I'm sure Lumia is happy. So HuT going for this 1-1-1 opener, and especially on the week that he came back, it was so exciting to see him back. Not just back, but winning series against Zerg players, going 1-1-1 and going for Ravens, and that's just something you don't see nowadays. And I was hoping that he would, you know, like make that like a characteristic of how he plays, but it looks like he's playing a little bit more standard.
I really like this move where he like poked the third and then like went with the Helios around. All the queens just waddled to the third, but I feel like he waited a bit too long. Like if he just went straight, it would be fun. There are a lot of links there, but I think that many Helios could deal with them.
Yeah.
She dies.
Oh, yeah,
Just
that was
dies.
not a good start. Yeah, it was rallied across the map. Nope, it didn't shoot at all. It didn't do anything. And oh, the Hellions are diving in. No, they're getting surrounded.
Yeah, but see, that was the wrong moment to dive in because all the queens were already there, and like before he managed to successfully like pull them out. And look what it is. What a surprise!
Oh, this is more standard in ZVT. It isn't as crazy. But yeah, of course, Demi loves his mutas, and we will be seeing Lingbane Muta.
Oh, classic. Like, Lingbane Muta has been making a comeback.
He's a Protoss player. He's in the military, actually. I'll have you know.
There's no... Okay, listen, there's no player named Comeback.
He said classic.
I know, but we need someone named Comeback now. Because that's
That would
a good
just be
name.
weird.
No, but that's a good name for a player.
Is it a good name?
I mean, compared to all the others.
I guess. What does HuT stand for? Where did HuT come from?
I don't know, because every time I see it, I just associate it with Pizza Hut, but don't tell him.
I was about to say, like, is it? Does he really like Pizza Hut? Is that?
That's literally the first thing that comes to mind.
We need, like, he's been gone a while. Maybe he doesn't know about the pizza pie bi-weekly. He could, that could be his thing.
It'd be so fun.
He needs someone at Pizza Hut Australia right now. We need to sponsor him.
Listen, if HuT played in Pizza bi-weekly, there would be so many puns in that cast.
Exactly, it'd be great.
Medivacs, they right in the rally. That was so close.
Yeah. But he does drop his Marines just in time, and it looks like HuT may be able to escape. He does. Yeah, again, this is the thing I love about HuT is like his micro and his control, especially when dropping, is insane. Like it's probably the best in the region, I would say.
He's not making any turrets whatsoever. He has double NG, but no turrets. Now he's making one in the third of all places.
Yeah, he's making one in the third. His natural's a little bit exposed, and there is Lingbane here in the middle of the map, but the creep hasn't quite reached that choke point.
Okay, I guess Marines are enough.
Yeah, Marines are pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, I just felt like most of them already moved out, but I guess not.
Man with gun.
That was a supply drop. Don't move, freeze! For people who don't know, that's my personal meme. Every time somebody pauses, I literally just freeze for a moment, like automatically. It's stronger than me.
I also just realized Yaku's been joining in the Discord chat. It's like, God damn it.
I'm observing. I'm sorry.
But Yeah. Unfortunately, this is a little bit of an issue that we have with the scene. Like, um, you know,
I just
ping
read.
issues.
I just
Yeah.
read what Yaku wrote. I'm gonna read it afterwards. It's bad. It's really
Yeah,
bad.
it's awful. It's god awful. But HuT, he's moving out. You know, he's got his Bioforce. He's got a bunch of Hellbats as well. 2-2 is about to finish up in like 15 or so seconds. And Demi, he's pretty out of position. He's all the way on the other side of the map.
He does have creep though, so he will be notified about this soon.
Yeah, he is finally notified. Oh, that's a kill!
And the upside of like Lingbane, Muta is that they move quite quickly. Also, he's going for a run by. No, go in! Go in, Demi! There you go.
Just a little bit on an A move. And oh god, the Widowmine!
Wouldn't it be funny if the Widowmine just like targeted the Marines for the Zerglings?
And the Lings, they do pull like some of the forces back, but 6 SCVs do end up going down. In the end, though, I feel like HuT, he did what he wanted to do. You know, he killed the base.
He did kill a base, but Demi is already taking the next one, and like he didn't really have to fight the army. Like he has more time to prepare for it.
Yeah, which is definitely what he needs to do. I feel like this army for HuT, it is a little bit lacking when it comes to like it's the backbone. Like there are 2 tanks and that's it. Like there's no Widowmines.
Yeah.
There's no extra tanks. There's no.
It's mostly Marines, really. Oh, the famous patrol, yes.
Yeah, I was about to say this is what he likes to do. Like he's fancy with his Marines.
This is like the signature move of HuT, the patrols. Right there.
I love to see it. It's beautiful.
It's like a dance.
Exactly, and oh, Demi is catching him out of position. Oh god, the Bailings! 6 do go down, and is he gonna get the CC? He shouldn't. He should be able to.
Come on, Demi. Aww. So
yeah,
close.
the Marines got back just in time. If he tried to target fire the CC, he would have lost too many Mutalisks.
Yeah, a lot of Mutas would die. Like the Marine DPS is pretty high.
Yeah, they would absolutely melt them. So it was nicely done there by Demi. He almost got the CC, but wisely he does back off, and
I mean,
yeah, he keeps HuT back at home.
I feel like the longer the time goes, like the sniping the bases becomes less important because, especially for Terran, because they can just float the other bases. Like,
yeah, definitely.
And like when Demi was attacking like the third, like yeah, it was a third. Like HuT was already making another one.
So I just realized something that may explain part of this composition. There's no medevacs with this at all.
Yep.
Like, period. There's
Nope.
nothing. And it looks like HuT, he will be able to kill the base, which is nice. But where's his starport production? At the same time, there's a counterattack at the third base of HuT.
The Mutas are
One
back.
Mulist diving in. Oh my god, he gets all the Widowmines. Jesus Christ. And he comes back and gets the kill.
Yep. But meanwhile, HuT got his own kill, and he's attacking the next hatchery. There's no defense here.
And what is there at home against the Mutalist? Again, the Widowmine does get picked off, and all the reinforcements as well. These Mutalists are doing so much damage, and Demi, he can afford to lose a couple of bases if he's on top of the production like this.
Jackie's just sniping all the reinforcements. Whatever. Oh, that mine collected.
Yeah, and it does have to be careful. Yeah, but it looks like he will avoid them. And once again, HuT, he forces the entirety of the army back home.
Exactly 2. Are they the only 2? No, there are 4 on the map. Where's the other 2? They're just chilling.
Yeah, you know what I just... Yeah, and something that's really important that we just saw is when Demi was in the production, he actually killed the starport that was in the main base. So there's only one starport left for HuT. He had to remake it in his natural. Like, so yeah, the production it's hurting a lot for HuT, and because of every single time he stims, it hurts his army so much more.
Yeah, and it's all Marines, so like they're pretty squishy. Sorry, there are 2 Marauders here.
Yeah. And what is a little bit scary though is that we were talking about how he didn't have many tanks or widow mines, but he has so many widow mines. Oh god, another nice hit. Like this is pretty scary to engage if you're Demi.
Yeah, Demi can't roll in the banelings. Like look at how many widow mines there are. He's crashing either into widow mines or into marauders. Neither is good.
Oh my god, the target fire. Demi, he was trying to bait out some widow mine shots, but they all get sniped in the end. And HuT, he's nothing stopping him. He's maxed out.
I think Demi is just going for a counter attack. I think the mutas are already there.
He may be setting up for like a surround.
He's setting up a sandwich. But with all the widow mines?
He's gonna try nice hits from both ends, and it looks like Demi just has enough to clean up.
Wow.
At the same time, though, his fourth base is getting hit by another group of bio, and they get a kill. No medevacs. They just ran across the map. Cancel.
The medevacs just shoot at the bases. They literally just stand there. Like HuT
I feel
is
like
just not taking it.
At this point, HuT just shouldn't make them. He's not using them anyway.
I know,
just
right? Like they just waste supply.
Yeah. Just focus on your racks and on your factory production. Like you're not even using the medevacs, whatever. But now we're finally getting to the point where, for this entire time, HuT, he rushed his upgrades, and he's had 3-3 for so long. But now finally, Demi, he's working on his own 3-3. He's working on his Ultralist Cavern, which is about to finish up as well. Like all of his upgrades are lining up, and once they do finish, I kind of want to give the advantage to Demi. To be fair though, he has been struggling a lot. Like he hasn't been able to get a fifth base up and running. Like they just keep getting killed or cancelled.
Yeah, look how many CCs HuT has.
Oh god, yeah. And he's moving out.
Oh, he's cancelling again.
Yeah.
The drone transfer, no.
The drone transfer, and it looks like a bunch of the mutalists or a bunch of armies hitting across the map. Like the splits aren't there.
Fourth, fifth.
Yeah, there's no anti-air.
But does it matter when HuT is rolling into Demi's base?
Yeah, he kills one of the bases. Looks like
hatchery.
Yeah, he's going to be able to get another hatchery as well. Most of the banelings got used up, but Ultralists are on the way. We'll see where they pop out and if Demi can muster up a big enough army. I feel like with Ling Bane
Demi has Ultra, only 3 bases now. Look, the Ultra just gets sniped because it was born at the wrong place.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like they were hatched in the wrong place, and now the Ling Bane Muto is trying to come in, but
they took out a big chunk of the army, but like there's still more left. And he just picks up. The medevac gets sniped, but a decent. Look, okay, listen.
Oh god, he has too many now. He has too many. He focused too much on the medevac production. There's too many here.
He needs more none, and now he has more medevacs than army. HuT,
exactly. HuT. He can only make one or the other. He can't go for both, and it looks like with these Ultralists, Demi's gonna just be able to hold.
That's a nice place.
Will he?
That's a great spot.
Yeah.
That was such a great choke where the ultras were just coming one by one, just like waiting in a queue. Like, yep, this is my time.
Part of me feels like Demi should kill the rocks. Like he needs to get rid of those. That position is so difficult to push into.
This is such a pretty line. You're just like listening to someone.
Yeah, and Demi, like you kept mentioning how like he kept losing bases, and now he's still struggling to get a 4th base. I mean, he did kill a base of HuTs, which is nice, but he had so many CCs anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Like HuT is making multiple CCs at a time, so like he can lose some. Like he already has a replacement.
Yeah. So it didn't really hurt him anywhere near as much. In saying that though, he still hasn't taken this base. It looks like he's lifting up his main base to land, which is quite nice as well. So HuT, he's doing what he can with what he has. Demi is struggling a little bit economically, especially since he's starting to make ultras and they cost so much more.
Oh yeah. I'm actually surprised that Demi doesn't have any macro hatches with that situation. Like he keeps losing production. Like maybe a macro hatch would be good, but then again he needs resources anyway.
Yeah, I was gonna say he needs resources. I think he's good for larva, but oh, nice Widowmine shots to land on the Mutalists. And they buy enough time for HuT to protect his base once again.
Part of me wants Demi to go for a ninja.
Yeah, like one of the corner bases would be nice. Like
The
no
bottom
one
corner.
has gone.
The bottom corner specifically,
Yeah,
because I noticed that HuT, whenever HuT sends a drop, he sends it to the north. So like the bottom corner would be better.
Yeah. Either one would be good. Like I guess the big problem is that the creep isn't really there for Demi, so it will be difficult to protect it. But we're under the assumption that HuT won't check that place anyway.
Just go full Papa Panda. Make a Nidus in your face.
I feel like full Papa Panda is making hatcheries but not making army. Or drones, I should say.
But recently, every time Papa Panda is making Nidus and just connecting his bases, and I think it's beautiful.
Oh my god. So first he went Mass Marine, then he went Mass Medevac, and now he's going Mass Marauder. That's a lot of Marauders. Oh boy.
HuT is playing.
Meanwhile though, there's the link run back to the bottom right, and he ends up losing all of his SCVs there at the base.
Yeah, like Demi keeps making like these small run bys. Like they usually don't get that many workers, but this one actually is.
Yeah, I was about to say 14 SCVs.
Yeah, the army was just wandering around.
14 SCVs go down. Another medevac does get picked off as well. So, like they're both doing a really good job at containing each other. Like they're both on low bases. But I feel like HuT has done a really good job at customizing or changing his army to battle against ultras.
In general, like I guess HuT is reacting to what he sees.
Yeah. Is there enough anti-air though? Like, what about the Mutalisks? Like, if there's just Marauders and Liberators, maybe they can change everything.
Sniping Liberators, so there's that.
Yeah, all the Liberators are going to go down, and it looks like there are enough Ultras to push this away, and with just Marauders, yeah, the Ultras, like, there's nothing shoots up.
And there's more links in HuT's base.
Yeah, and I think with that, like, Demi may have broken HuT. Like, look at the supplies. He's down 60 supply. More mining is being denied. The Mutants are coming in as well to the north. HuT, he's trying to counterattack, but the Mutalisks go back. He kills the base, which is nice.
It's a nice position.
Oh god, those Mutalisks are so low. They ran into Widow Mines.
They ran into a few Widow Mines. And my god, they're fierce.
Yeah. Like, one more Widow Mine shot would have changed everything. Like, the majority of those Mutalisks would be dead.
Those Mutas have seen things. Okay.
Oh god. But to be fair, like, we're still at the point where they're both at kind of 50 workers. Like, no one has a big economic advantage.
That's the thing. Like, this game has been all like harassed, but like not too many like big engagements.
Yeah, I mean, there've been big engagements where I feel like Demi has been able to take the lead. But in the end, like, he wins. He has a bunch of Mutalisks, but he can't really do much else with the Mutalisks because there are just so many Widow Mines. Like,
in general, I feel like the Mutas are not exactly the frontal engagement like units.
Well, I feel like the problem is that eventually in the ZVT you want to get rid of the Mutalisks and go into Corrupted Broodlord, but he's still stuck with them, and it looks like Mass Marine isn't what you want against Ultras. This HuT, it doesn't look like he has what he needs. I told you, you can only make one thing at a time, okay? GG!
Basically, just the HuT mono battle.
I think that was the longest game you casted.
It might have been. How long? 22 minutes. I'm pretty sure this is the longest. I'm impressed. That's because we didn't tell Demi. Also, thanks Probe for raiding with 129 raiders.
Oh wait, thanks for the raid, but I'm afraid to refresh the bracket now because does that mean that Pez took out Probe? Wow, Pez 2-0'd Probe.
2-0. Nice. Pez is like getting there. Like recently, he's been really like, getting good, as people say. No, but like recently, like he's been getting really good results, and like he's only going up.
Yeah. So Going into today's tournament, I was talking to Yaku about it, and I was really tempted to get into Pez's series to see how he does against Probe, because I say this time and time again, Pez, he has the best PvZ in the region, even more so than Probe, but Probe usually, you know, takes him down in a mirror matchup. So I wanted to see like how Pez was doing in his other matchups, whether it be PvP or PvT, and that looked like a really nice matchup. But unfortunately, things didn't really line up. We went for Demi instead, and yeah, wow, Pez with the 2-0.
Anyway, we're gonna welcome back Yaku, as this was my one game of Group Please, which you can redeem for 16,000 points, which we call grapes. Why? Look up Ducklings.
Yeah.
And wait, before we introduce this map, I have to read Yaku's joke as I promised. As I said, we need a player named Come Back. And as Yaku said, TY needs to be their rival, so we can call them Baby Come Back. And with that, I'm gonna leave you. Bye!
But she'll still be here in production. I am back in. I didn't really have an intro for myself, but I will say that I was hoping that if I stayed muted long enough, Kuro would forget that it was only one game she was meant to cast, and we'll go for the entire series. But to get the entire series, we're now going to be on to Golden Wall. The first time I'm seeing this map in about a week. Where in the left-hand side of the map, spotting in the left-hand side of this map, we do in fact have our red Terran player, all the way coming down from the land of Brisbane, if I'm not mistaken. We have, playing for Mindfreak SC, it is HuT.
And spawning in at the bottom left-hand corner of Golden Wall LE, we have the Indian Zerg player representing Downfall Gaming. It is Demi.
And what a game one that we just had, like.
Oh yeah, that was sick. that was insane. Yeah, just really impressive from both players. That's yeah.
I think the one thing to or at least the one thing that really stuck with me in that particular game is just how active both of those two players. I want to say more so from the side of HuT were being on the map. I feel like for the longest time, or at least throughout the mid game, HuT's idea was, I'm not really concerned about Demi's Mutalisk going into my bases because I'm just gonna continue to push on the creep and try to force those Mutalisks back.
Yeah, I was about to say that HuT was really active on the map with his bio forces. Demi was really active with his Mutalisk as well, and his Ling run bys. As Kuro was pointing out, like most of the time the Ling run bys didn't really do much, but towards the end they started to kind of snowball with damage. And yeah, like I just love seeing these two duke it out.
Exactly. I have a feeling we might see quite a bit of a different game though, like as we are onto the Golden Wall.
I was about to say, how did this make it through the vetoes? what did they pick?
It's literally haven't seen this in a week at least.
Yeah, this is the other one. I was talking to Yoda about it when we were casting the Chilean tournament. The two golden maps we didn't see at all until the final game, the final series.
That's because all the players are in plat.
True. But yeah, it's really surprising to see, especially because like in this map pool, it's not like we have purity in industry, something that everyone vetoed, except maybe against the Terrans, and things along those lines. Like the map pool is a lot more standard.
Yeah. Golden Wall though is about as far as from standard as you can get on this current pool though.
Yeah, pretty much.
And Demi is kind of playing into that a little bit. Didn't go for that gold base immediately. I think that's more of a Hong Kong flavor thing, but is opening up the wall.
Yeah, is opening it up. I imagine to maybe take that as his third base. Speaking of which, his third base is incredibly late. He's on 2 bases. He has 4 gases, and he's going for 2 base meter.
I like it. Forget the switch part. It just goes straight on in.
Yeah, and
he's keeping us really well hidden as well. The Reaper's
Yeah.
starting to jump in, but look at those Lynx body blocking.
Ooh, and I think he did see the lair at the natural, so he is aware of that. He didn't see the gases though. He only saw one of the gases, so he has no idea what is coming. And I was about to say that on a map like Golden Wall, it's harder to figure out when you're a Terran player that the Zerg is on 2 bases, because he could have taken that southern base as his third. Like it's kind of hard to tell unless you get like a unit out there, and that can be difficult to do.
Exactly. It's also doubly hard for it's also doubly hard for players like HuT, the sort of ANZC players, to know what the tech coming out from that layer is. Yeah. Because of course we have Mio Micah, who likes to rush Hydras.
Yeah, he likes to rush Hydras. You know, we could see Nidus, especially on a map like this. Nidus can be really popular as well. So, yeah, HuT, he's in the dark, but I guess he's already sniffing it out because he already has 3 Vikings.
Yeah, it's a little bit overkill if you were planning to go just for the those Overlord clearings, but I have a feeling we're about to see some Viking drops coming out from HuT.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You do not go that far into the Zerg side of the map or your opponent's side of the map with those Vikings.
Yeah,
unless you're about to play like Boxer.
I was also about to say that, like, even if you think your opponent is going realist, like, the answer to that typically isn't Vikings either. Like, this amount of Vikings is a little bit odd to me, but maybe HuT, you know, he's a little bit unorthodox with his styles. Maybe this is his answer to Mutalisks.
Do you think maybe HuT thinks that he's a Protoss player? Phoenix are the answer to Mutalisks. So,
yeah, I guess.
Phoenix.
I mean, it's gonna work.
Yeah, especially in these sort of low supply Mutalisks.
Yeah.
The range of the Viking is something that it's something that you don't often see being utilized too well against Mutalisks, because of course Mutalisks are a very fast unit. They can jump right into the face of these Vikings, but HuT has just about found the way to kite these Mutalisks, and he is just continuing to make Vikings. He's going into... I want to point out that he's going into bio behind this. I think he decided he made too many medevacs last game.
I was about to say that, I mean, judging based on game number 1, HuT doesn't even need medevacs when he goes by. Okay, like what else? He's like, what am I even using these starports for? I know, Vikings.
Oh yeah, he realized. Wait a minute.
He's sniping so many mutas.
Many medevacs that previous game. He is keeping his mutalist numbers low, and I think that goes back to, again, the previous game where we really saw that snowball for the side of Demi. Once he was able to get that really an apocalypse of Mutalisks, as you'll call it? It was really hard for HuT to keep up.
Yeah, I just want to know what Demi's thinking right now. He's like, what is happening this game? Like, who does this? What is happening? Like, why am I in this region? He's like,
why am I in this region?
I have to deal with Mio Micah, I have to deal with Ender, I have to deal with HuT. Like, who goes mass Viking against Mutalisks? And Demi's being he's being a little bit stubborn. He's sticking with these Mutalisks production. He just keeps making more.
Well, eventually, at least according to the StarCraft 2 website, eventually Mutalisks are favored versus Vikings.
It's one of those things where so theoretically, like, Mutalisks should do well against Vikings, but I mean, HuT, he could prove us wrong. You know, maybe we've been thinking, like, maybe he's changing the meta as we speak.
Well, it's all about ratios in that, right? I think generally the reason why you don't see a lot of Vikings versus Mutalisks is because you want to be using your supply more for, you know, medevacs and whatnot, or also this, you know, as we see Demi chasing these Vikings down.
Yeah, okay, so
that's probably more the reason.
All is right in the world. This the Vikings have been dealt with.
Demi's bringing sanity back.
Yep, okay. It was looking dicey there, but looking at the units lost, 12 Vikings have gone down and 12 Mutalisks have gone down.
That's an even.
Yeah, which means it's better for the Terran. Like, that's a lot of gas investment in those Mutalisks that went down.
Indeed, it was. And it's just going to be a very standard follow-up now. The Mutalisks trying to get a bit of harass, not getting a lot done. HuT now moving in without medevacs, I want to point out.
Oh yeah, he doesn't need no medevacs. Who needs that? Just Stim to win, and with all these Widowmines as well, I'm kind of worried for Demi. Like, does he have enough to deal with this? Especially with all that, oh god, all the Banelings gonna get soaked up.
Yeah, he does have a clump of Banelings here in the corner, just trying to keep them alive for as long as it can. These Zerglings are going to jump in, and they will cause quite a bit of friendly fire from the Widowmines. HuT is getting cleaned out here.
Ooh. Yeah, nicely done. But there is a Liberator there. It should also get dealt with.
The drones, light the drones.
Oh, what's about to finish? The Widowmine!
About to finish. Scats. Eskatouche. That was way more than it should have been. We don't have game heart, thankfully, so, you know, we're spared that. Even more damage getting done. GG. Right as the Spore burrowed. That was... Yo. That was actually kind of sad.
Oh my god.
Funny and sad moments in StarCraft 2.
Yeah, 20 drones went down to that first Widowmine shot, and then a bunch of Banelings went down as well. Like, oh my god. And more Widowmine shots were going to go down as well, because Demi, he was making the Overseer, but it was still a ways away. So
he actually managed to burrow a Spore Crawler right towards the end there. But there was just nothing that could really after that final hit taking off that Ling Bane, I think Demi realized there's just not enough damage there to clear out the minefield.
Yeah. Oh my god. So we've learned we've learned a couple of things here today. You know, if you're a Terran and if you go bio, don't make medevacs.
Exactly.
If you see Mutalisk, you want to make a bunch of Vikings. And yeah, that's all you need to know.
Drone up right in front of your, or not drone up, mine up right in front of your opponent's face.
Yeah, and again, with that game, we can see the new patch come into play. Of course, all you need is a factory, and your Widowmines, they aren't visible unless you have detection.
An armory.
Armory, that's it. What did I say, factory?
Yeah.
All your Terran structures are the same to me, right? Like, what do you...
Yeah. But I mean, did HuT get drilling claws in that game? I think is the big thing to ask, because it could have been one of those other moments, right, where the actual patch didn't really affect the strategy that came into play, but because of the patch, it incentivizes more players to play that way. Yeah,
definitely. That's kind of what we've seen, especially with a lot of Blizzard patches, where they buff a unit in such a way just so players can utilize it more, and that's basically what they're doing with
even though it's not really a direct impact.
And I think the biggest one for that, which still hasn't come into play, is Microbial Shroud. They recently buffed it. They're like, guys, use it. Let us know what it's like. And everyone's like, no, we're not touching it.
I mean, that's also kind of a bit of a hindrance now. I think some people were actually talking about it. This might be not a buff, but actually a nerf, as you might accidentally misclick on Microbial Shroud and waste 50 energy.
Yeah, a bunch of people, they removed it from their hotkeys, like the Microbial Shroud hotkey, just in case they mispress it. Oof.
It's so not good.
Oh, good.
But speaking of not good, never mind. Speaking of something else that we can take away from whatever we were saying as a segue, we are now going on to Pillars of Gold, LE, where in the top right-hand corner of the map, spawning in the top right-hand corner of the map, we do have our red Terran player taking notes out of Boxer and apparently Euthermal, as Kerwin is now informing us. He is the red Terran, coming down all the way from the land of Sydney, representing Mindfreak SC. We have HuT. warm your butts.
Or get your nuts ready. Anyway, the bottom left-hand corner of Pillars of Gold LE, we have the Indian Zerg player representing Downfall Gaming. It is Demi.
Alright, so now we've actually seen the 2 golden maps on the same series. Like, this... Do you feel like we're in a bizarro world?
Hashtag play like Gold League. That's what we're seeing here today. Just no Medivacs, mass Vikings, you know, just whatever. 2-base Muta. We actually saw 2-base Muta. It's yeah, it's a great day at StarCraft.
Indeed, it is. What do you think we're gonna get out of this game, though? I feel like we're on the ace match. Tournament life is on the line. Now's the time to get real wacky with it, innit?
So I'm honestly very surprised that HuT didn't proxy.
Really?
Yes, I said it before. It's possible. I said that before against Career, to Career. During the ANZ qualifiers, which we were casting over the weekend, HuT played against NXZ, and HuT proxied 3 games in a row. It was amazing to see.
That.
Yeah. It didn't work out for him in the end. So maybe, I guess he learned his lesson. He's like, maybe I shouldn't do this. Like, it's as NXZ did end up taking that series.
That, or he's saving his redefined proxies.
That's probably more likely, to be honest. Yeah,
I'm a little surprised that you didn't at least go for some kind of bunker rush. I think if you're a player who is known for doing a lot of these proxies, just building that bunker in the face of the Zerg player, sometimes they tend to overreact. We see Innovation utilize that very recently.
It could be very map specific, where maybe the rush distance is a little bit too long on a map like this, so sending an SCV out to make that bunker is a little bit more difficult to pull off. Or yeah, maybe HuT, as you were saying, maybe he's just trying to play this a little bit more standard. I did just check, so HuT, he did qualify for ANZ Champs, and in his group, he is in the Protoss group.
Ooh, that's the real reason why he's saving his proxies.
Yeah, he's in a group with Ranger, Blisk, and Probe, as well as Justice Simon. So, it's basically all the Protoss in the region except for Pez.
It's just, and arguably Pez is a Protoss player who plays Protoss a little bit different than how these other players do it.
Yeah. So you know, give your energy to HuT, so, like, not just today, but over the weekend, which is when the groups will be played. He will be going through a variety of TVPs, and I'm curious to see what he comes up with.
Well, I can tell you what he's come up with right now, Light. A very early armory.
That is an incredibly early army. We will be seeing a Hellbat push, I imagine, coming out from HuT, and we'll see how Demi can prepare for this, as he did send in an Overlord into the main base, but it did get sniped before it saw the armory. And these things, again, they don't make it past the natural.
Yeah, I mean, they do see the reactor on the factory, I'm assuming, but that's not really much of a tell. It could just be a kind of mass Hellion sort of opening to transition into something else. I gotta be honest with you, Light. I was much more excited when I first saw the armory before I saw all the Hellions, because I thought we were gonna get more mines.
And here we go, the Hellbats have already morphed in, and there are Banelings on the way for Demi, so he will have a couple to deal with them. We'll see if he has enough to save his third base.
Well,
the ones on the wall
might not have enough to save the third base, but he does have enough to decimate HuT's mineral line in the natural base. The Banelings are starting to come into play. All of these Hellbats are very clumped up, as well as this Viking. The splits at the last second do help out quite a bit here for HuT. But in the end, much more damage on the side of HuT. 12 SCVs, a dead supply depot line. This could just be a very quick ace match.
Yeah, and we do see this from time to time, where if you go for a big Hellion push like this, like, you need to make sure that wall is set up as you leave, because otherwise something like this can happen. Lings just made their way into the natural, killed 13 SCVs, and what did HuT accomplish with his Hellbat push? He traded against Army, really, and yeah, Demi, he's looking solid right now.
He made very good use of his mineral dumping there. I guess the answer to that. He got rid of some unwanted minerals.
Yeah. And that was in those SCVs, right?
Exactly. Why waste your minerals on SCVs when you can get mules for energy?
Exactly. For forehead.
But now I remember. now I remember why this map is vetoed so often. Like, at least from the Terran player's perspective, it's. I guess maybe I haven't figured it out yet, but I don't think it's possible to double supply depot CC wall off in the natural base.
Yeah, I'm not too sure either. As
Or
like,
at least
I
it's
haven't.
very unconventional.
Yeah, I haven't played this map enough in ZVTs either to see how Terrans do wall it off. And I mean, this is quite nice from HuT. He goes for a Hellion drop. He gets 5 worker kills. Doesn't lose any of his Hellions. So like, this is a nice start.
Yeah,
Just keep it up.
hopefully we start off a big comeback. Here comes that Raven that I was hoping to see.
Oh my God, it's happening.
Already a lot of queens though, but this is just a creep clearing Raven.
Yeah, as you do, you know, your typical creep clearing Raven. So really nicely done there by HuT, going for his signature Raven style. But again, there are just so many queens here that they do push it away. I just love how unique HuT is with his units.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
To say the least. Hellbat drop coming in onto the main base will draw a lot of attention away from Demi. But HuT doesn't really have a lot to utilize to make use of there. Matter of fact, does go down with the 2 Hellbats.
Yeah, a bit of a shame there. Yeah, that was, again, nicely defended by Demi, and yeah, he is going for that Spire, going for his Mulus play once again. But HuT, he isn't letting up. He's trying to get as much damage as he can. The Spore does uproot, but... Oh God!
The Queens are here to drive this Raven back. Literally 4 health left. 1 more hit from the Queens, and this will be a dead Raven.
Jesus Christ. Hopefully he can go back home and repair. And yeah, here we have a second Raven out on the map. Again, trying to deal as much damage as he can. I mean, to be fair, like the creep thread isn't really there for Demi. We're 8 minutes in and it's barely connecting all the bases of Demi, so...
That's thanks to the Raven.
Yeah, it's
Forehead.
of course. So yeah, really nicely done here by HuT. Like a combination of things, right? Where Demi, he's been using his queens more on defense, not really focusing on creep clearing. So
yeah, HuT now sees the Mutalist, or well, there was a little bit of a window there for HuT to have seen the Mutalist. Now should be well aware of their presence. Did manage to get that auto turret out in the end, and I mean gets a Mutalist.
yeah, that's you know, Mutalist for energy is definitely worth it. Nicely done there.
But is it worth it for a Raven? Potentially
That's
not.
Yeah, that's the question.
Coming soon for HuT. And I was getting pretty worried there, Light. I thought HuT skipped the medevacs again.
Unfortunately, he did not. I do feel like he'd probably fare better without them. As he did in the previous game. But yeah, we do have HuT pushing out once again, and we can see the supply disparity. Like, he needs to find some kind of damage with this, and oof.
Yeah, not quite getting it done. No turrets up here into the base. HuT really focusing almost everything onto his army. He knows that he needs to get this push out, or needs this push out to succeed. So this is where the majority of his attention is at. The Banelings do hatch, and unfortunately, that gets rid of the anti-armor. This army of Demi starting to converge on top of the unsieged tanks, and here comes the rest of it. The Bioforce of HuT just completely wiped off. And
Yeah, that was a bad moment. HuT was actually on siege with his tanks. He was panic sieging them as the army was converging on him, and now is Demi's opportunity to counterattack. There is a defensive tank, but just 1 tank. Is that enough? He's focus firing the Banelings, but
I mean, clips on the Banelings does lose a handful of Marines as well as that tank. I think there might just be barely enough Marines here for these Mutalists not to get a lot of damage done. But here comes the second wave coming out from Demi.
yeah, he does try, but he does see the amount of Marines there, and instead he backs off. He's still continuing to drone up. He's getting his upgrades as well. He's just macroing up pretty nicely, and this entire game, like, Demi has been able to maintain his lead, but he hasn't been able to close it out. HuT has just been able to stay in here, even though he's been losing these units, like, trading a little bit inefficiently. Like, he's still fighting, like, as best he can.
Yeah. Well, to go back to the point of Demi not quite closing it out yet, he is starting to transition to the next phase of his game.
Yeah.
I think he has realized I might be tunnel visioning a little bit too much. Need to step back a little bit, throw down an infestation pit. I don't need to take HuT out just yet, because I'm already favored.
Yeah, like it is definitely possible. Like we do sometimes see these players, you know, potentially throw, like if they keep trying to end the game and then they just keep trading inefficiently, and then suddenly the Terran player is ahead in supply. So Demi, he does take a step back. He is aware of that, and he is going for his hive.
He is. I'm looking at HuT's unit composition right now. It's mostly Marine tank, and I think it's really up to HuT to realize Demi's going on to his hive tech. I need to switch out what my strategy is going to be. HuT's mostly just focused on trying to build up his army and go for another timing attack. As the game goes on, that becomes less and less effective.
I definitely agree, but I do feel like we are seeing a +2 timing here from HuT. I do like him pushing out with this army as Demi is getting Hive, because he doesn't have Hive quite yet. So this may be the opportunity that HuT has, this window where Demi, he doesn't have Hive quite yet. He's still on Lingbane Muta. So this army can still trade efficiently. It will just all depend about the splits and the positioning.
Oh yeah, whenever the Terran player is a hidden army supply, there's definitely an opportunity there to attack. Not necessarily a good opportunity, but an opportunity.
Yeah, definitely, and he's going for it. You know, he does trade a little bit nicely there with the Banelings. He's trying to readjust his army, and it does have to be careful. Oh, a lot of Banelings
moving past Banelings moving past that very clumped up Marine count. Demi now going for a counterattack, trying to force HuT back home, and HuT is kind of falling for it. He's sending the majority of his forces back, but he still has a very healthy Marine count here, keeping the pressure on top of Demi. This is going to be a base trade.
He's a little bit indecisive. He was going backwards and forwards there.
And he jumped light.
Oh god, some of the tanks do get picked off.
They do, but there just wasn't enough Zerglings there to really buffer for those Banelings. A lot of them do go down, and now HuT has an opportunity to go on in. A lot of Mutalisks, though, wreaking havoc in the main base of HuT, and this is a timer. This is a base trade.
Yeah, essentially, and the Ultralisk Cavern is about to finish up for Demi, but Ultralisks in and of themselves do take some time to hatch, so Demi just relying on his Lingbane at home. There's a lot of Marines here, so a couple of tanks as well. Just target fire the tank there. But are there going to be enough Banelings? Like, HuT, he needs to be a little bit more aggressive. I feel like he needs to pull the trigger right now.
Oh, absolutely. Demi knows that so long as he can keep his current army alive for the Ultralisks to come out, eventually he's going to get an army that really synergizes well against what HuT has.
He kills the Baneling Nest!
He could kill the Baneling Nest, but I think I feel like that's the least of Demi's concerns right now. Or maybe not. A lot of these Banelings are getting wasted.
Yeah, like
waiting for that Ultralisk Cavern to finish. That's still quite a ways off.
Yeah, right now there's this period of time where there are no more Banelings being made for Demi, and without Banelings, pure Ling isn't going to work at all against this. The Mutalisks have come back home to try and deal with this, and the tanks are sieged. The Natural is going to go down. The Ultralisk Cavern just finishes up for Demi. 2 Ultralisks are on the way, and once the Ultralisks come out, it may be too late for HuT, so he needs to try and get more damage done.
Can we appreciate just how patient Demi is playing this right now? There were multiple times where he could have gone and taken a bit of a gamble, moved in with his Lings and his Mutalisks, but realized that if he just waits for his Ultralisks by themselves, they get popped off by Marines.
Just about to pop off in the main base, and to be fair, it's still always the way the Ultralisk Cavern gets picked off, and has HuT done it?
Only 2 Ultralisks, the upgrades that get denied. And maybe it's gonna depend a lot on these Zerglings, I feel. Oh, there's not a big Zergling count. I'm not convinced that that's going to be enough of a buffer. 1 Ultralisk already being taken out. HuT might have just done it. There's a huge cloud of Mutalisks, and this is a split-up army from HuT.
Yeah, we'll see. There's only 1 Ultralisk out on the map. The rest is just pure Muta Ling, but there may be enough to overwhelm the amount of Marines. Again, HuT's like production and economy is crippled, so the amount of Marines he has out is like basically all he has. We'll see if it's enough to close it out. I love how Demi's basically like expanded to the right-hand side. He's like, all right, you have that. I'm expanding over here instead. You can take that half of the map, but HuT, he's pushing in.
He is pushing in. He's bringing his reinforcements as well. These medevacs are starting to get really low. So HuT cannot start. HuT cannot be stimming a lot anymore. The Banelings do manage to crash in, but it's still a very healthy Marine count. Even more Banelings here. The transfuses on these Ultras are beautiful, and it looks like it's just going to be enough here for Demi to push this back. I think Demi might have just done it here. GG is called. And Demi, this is why we call him the Shark. Like, because he waits. He's patient. He waits, and then he pounces when, I guess I was a little bit desperate towards the end there, but yeah, he just did not want to take that gamble. He just played it out so cautiously. Made it to make sure that he had everything in position. The Queens for the transfuse, the Banelings or the Zerglings to provide that buffer, that Ultralist to tank, and of course the Mutalisk really bringing it home there.
GG. I'm just going to assume that waiting and biding your time is a characteristic of a shark, and I'm just going to go with it. Like, yes, they wait and then they pounce when you least expect it. But oh my god, GG, well played, Demi. Not just Demi, but HuT. Like, that entire game, he was behind. Like, let's be real here. Like, after losing those 12 SCVs in the beginning, and for the Hellbat push to do nothing, he was incredibly behind. And despite that, he tried as best he could. He was as aggressive as he could, and he almost won that game. I feel like there were definitely opportunities for him. Maybe, like, we were talking about him pulling the trigger. Maybe if he had immediately like sent a drop to the main base to already start dealing damage there or something along those lines, maybe he could have ended the game a little bit sooner. But also Demi just being as patient as possible, just avoiding the direct conflict for as long as he could, biding as much time as he could, expanding to the right hand side, making more lings, getting as many Banelings and Ultras and Mutalisks as he could before he finally took that fight.
That was insane.
That was great. I love that.
It very much so was. And it's just another chapter of 2-1. Or I guess, the back and forth between HuT and Demi. They do go down. They do always go down to the wire whenever they play against each other, which, you know, it's a bit of a shame that they're not going to be in the same group for the upcoming ANZ champs. But, you know, they're still the main event.
Yeah, definitely. These two are like some of the best in the region. I say these two, like we talk about this every week. And in case people watching aren't aware, I'm sure Probe is definitely aware. There's no seeding for these tournaments, so sometimes you get really unfortunate like rounds early on, and already Demi, HuT, Pez, Probe, they all faced each other in the first couple of rounds. They all knocked each other out. And speaking of which, we are going to be heading into Demi versus Pez, and this is just the semis.
It really is. On the other side of that, we do already have our first finalist. As we were mucking about here in the lower half of this bracket, in the upper half, things are going on very quickly for Seether.
We were casting
already making the finals there.
Yeah, we were casting the quarterfinals, and Seether was already in the finals.
He's like, come on, guys. I gotta get back to Tarkov.
God, Jesus Christ. So, exclamation mark, bracket in the chat. I believe it is updated.
Exclamation mark B.
Yeah, B or bracket, they both do work. And yeah, Seether, he just blazed his way through. He 2-0'd Vivid, 2-0'd Upley, 2-0'd Justice Simon. He's waiting in the finals. And again, it's a shame because any of these matchups could have been the finals, whether it was Pez versus Probe, HuT versus Demi, now Demi versus Pez. We'll find out which of these two players will face Seether in the finals.